I have been very fortunate and lucky to be a part of the college football landscape for the last few years, baptized with College Game Day into the biggest moments, the biggest traditions, and probably the most hardcore fans every single week. Very lucky to have done as such. Growing up in Pittsburgh, obviously not the biggest college football place on earth. Whenever this NIL thing started happening, it was very evident there was one worry. It's going to ruin the game. It's going to ruin the sport. It's going to ruin what college football is as a whole. This past weekend, with Nico Iamaleava, quarterback for the University of Tennessee, holding out of spring ball and basically saying, I want a new contract before I come back. This is the first time this has happened. Everybody fears, I assume, that this is going to happen a lot. And is this one of the things that everybody was worried about potentially being the downfall of college football, Mr. Pate?
Yeah. I mean, you sit next to a guy every Saturday morning who just got out of this business and into the media business and warned about all this. But notice, whether it's Nick Saban, whether it's Lanning or Ryan Day or Steve Sarkisian, whoever, I've not heard any of them say, man, I'm worried about NIL ruining this sport. What they've said is, I'm worried about zero structure ruining this sport, like zero guardrails. No one knows what's legal. I was down in Athens 2 weeks ago. Kirby Smart said, you know what my wish is? My wish is when I'm in spring practice to know who's going to be on my roster in the fall. Like I've already disillusioned myself to all the other stuff. I just kind of want to know who's on our team. But here's the part that sucks. Okay. So Nico Iamaleava is the face of all this, right? And then you get down to the nuts and bolts of the story, and it's not Nico Iamaleava really representing himself. It's people representing him. Now, when you guys talk about the NFL, that means a certified agent. They don't even know what the word certification means in college football. I can go represent someone today. My cousin can go represent someone today. And they're the least equipped people on planet Earth to do it. But yet, because they happen to share the last name or they happen to have grown up in the same cul-de-sac, they're actually going to collectives before the playoffs saying, hey, my client got you to the playoff. We want to renegotiate now. And then you're in the middle of spring. Hey, we want to renegotiate now. And I'm telling you, Pat, this thing got made public because of Nico. Dozens of other examples of this going on, including with other playoff teams this past cycle. And so the big fear for college football, to me, has always been the slow erosion of what really makes it great. Because like you're out on the road every Saturday, so you feel this stuff emanating from campuses or campi, which is the plural of campus.
Nice.
It is.
Hey, man, good work.
There's a different layer, like several layers, pageantry, tradition, but at the very core, there's something about that power T, as infantile, as rainbow and unicorn as that sounds, it means something to those folks. And the big fear is it doesn't mean as much to the players anymore one day as it does to me. And that's kind of what makes me check out a little bit. You've got to have that stuff, man. You've got to have that, or else you don't really have college football as you and I have known it our whole lives.
Yeah, and I think the turnover, obviously, of teams every single year, I mean, the higher quarterback situation won the Ohio State Buckeyes a national championship with Will Howard. I mean, you can go through a lot of the teams where the NIL actually helped them and made their school bigger and better, but the thought of potentially, everybody leaving and everybody disrespecting a brand is certainly one that will piss off the old college football heads. I'm so torn on it all, Pete. I don't understand it. I don't know how there isn't any guardrails. I don't know how this got passed without there being any kind of, hey, this is how it has to be run, though. So you're saying there's no certified agents that have to kind of come in there. There's no actual contracts either, because guys are, signing like 2 times in the same year with different people. I mean, so what is real, I guess, in all of it at this point, Pate, and how does it get fixed?
All right, let me tell you what's real. What's real is for a long time, college football was great and it was really profitable. And when things are going good, that's when you let your guard down. That's when anyone can walk in and put their hands on the wheel. And so this is not a months or a years long problem that's been brewing. It's been decades in the making. And you had really piss poor leadership. You had those bureaucratic academic types that climb the ladder of academia, or this also exists in the federal government, people who don't really have the talent to do something themselves. So they kind of get in charge of something else someone else built, and they're not really equipped to do it. Okay. So 10, 20 years ago, they had an opportunity. The NCAA, university presidents, don't let them escape culpability. They had the opportunity to create a world where NIL as it really should be stated, was legal. They didn't, man. They dug their heels in and they just kicked the can down the road. And then you get to a point where your rules aren't enforceable. They don't stand up against, the law and stuff like that. So then judges come in and just whack you with their gavel. And so you get to this world where, dude, over the span of like 24 months a few years ago, coaches just got the NIL and portal dropped in their lap. And they're being asked, hey, cast a vision, like build a program for the next 5-7 years. And they're like, we don't even know what's legal. We don't even know what we're able to do. They're still saying that. They don't even know what's legal this fall. We don't even know what the structure of the playoffs is going to be this fall, by the way. So long story short, lack of leadership created a big vacuum, and you've got a mess now, and it's up to your Greg Sankeys and your Tony Petitis, but also league presidents and university presidents to probably get Congress to pull some levers to help them. I'm the last dude who ever wanted federal intervention in college athletics, but I've grown in more and more convinced that given the state of affairs, that's probably your best shot to get a set of rules that are actually enforceable.
Yeah, I concur with you. I think they need some sort of something, because if not, how do you ever have a season? Like, I'm dealing with it with West Virginia right now because Rich Rodriguez is obviously back. We're trying to get he's trying to bring his guys in and do it all. So I've been paying close attention to it all. That first transfer portal, obviously in December, whatever, middle college football playoffs that it could have been. You could bring a guy in then, pay him, have to pay him because that's a deal. And then they can leave in April. There's another transfer portal coming in April, and they literally didn't even play a season. They just did the off season. And then the same exact thing. They got to figure it out, yeah. Josh. They got to figure it out. Okay, let's go back to Nico. Diggs has the last question for you here, pal.
Yeah, Pate, do we have any idea where Nico is going to go? I know SEC bylaws, if you transfer in the spring, you cannot go to an SEC school and be eligible to play that season, so it's going to be somewhere outside the SEC. I don't know if this was a screenshot or an altered screenshot. Saw 247 crystal ball, maybe saying UNC. Is there a chance he goes and partners up with Bill Belichick?
Well, first, Tone, don't just assume because something's written as a bylaw that it's enforceable. That's the first thing I'd say. The second thing is, yeah, I've heard the North Carolina thing. I've heard Tulane. To be honest with you, it makes me feel gross. This entire time of year makes me feel gross. Yeah. So I kind of sit back and let the other guys break the news. But here's the question. Is he the bad guy wherever he goes? Like, it's my opinion, the people who screwed this up for him, his representation, probably should do the first dignified thing they've done and step up and take the arrows for him. And fess up, hey, it's us, man. We screwed it up. He was just trying to play. We're the ones who got him into this mess. Because right now he goes to Tulane. He goes wherever he goes. He's like a heel, man. He's treated like a legit bad guy within college football. And yes, he's a legal adult. Like, yes, he bears some responsibility. Dude, he's not the one who got himself into this mess.
Yeah, if he goes to UNC, that'd be a wild move by old Bill and Lombo. Yeah. Welcome to college football. Here we are. Go ahead, Connor.
No, just the entire thing. But you would assume with how big the Big Ten kind of rolls, maybe he goes over to Ohio State. Who says that Ohio State doesn't just play the transfer portal game?
Is Ryan Day the one behind all this right now? So who do you? So you talk about the representation. You talk about the representation. So they're talking to people. They obviously know that there's that amount of money somewhere else. Is that what we're all assuming?
I don't think
West
they
Virginia?
do. That's the problem. A legit agent would. I think they just decided, oh man, we can leverage. None of these college programs actually talk to each other behind the scenes. They're all idiots. So we can just play them for fools, and we can just tell Tennessee we got $4 million on the table somewhere else. And Heupel's like, you don't. I know you don't. Now here's a hot rumor. I'm gonna give you the hot rumor. Okay, I have not confirmed this.
Yes.
Rumor.
Allegedly. Rumors.
Allegedly. It's all caps word these days around here. Allegedly.
Oh.
Certain friend of the program out on the West Coast, maybe up near Eugene, may have sent up a flare to let Tennessee know that this was happening behind the scenes. Oh. Imagine that. Other head coaches sending up the flare to let their fellow peers know there's some shadiness going on behind the scenes here. Might they be looking out for each other's best interest for a change?
Wow.
Allegedly.
That's pretty shady.
Well, I think the coaches, now who knows if that's real or not. I like a good rumor, and I assume that'll get an answer or a non-answer. But I like the fact that the coaches are probably a part of feeling ownership and having to get some guidelines around this entire thing too. It's like, hey, there's always going to be the haves and the have-nots whenever it comes to money. Ohio State's always going to be loaded. Penn State now we know is always going to be loaded, but at least if we could have some sort of you scratch my back, I scratch your type rules, we can all kind of keep this thing going ahead. We appreciate the hell out of your coverage and your time today, my brother.
Appreciate it, brother. Tell Ovechkin I said hey, or tell Alex I said hey.
Oh, you call him Alex?
First name.
Well, that's how I've referred to him. He'll understand. Just let him know. He'll understand.
Do you do full dap up, or is it a handshake? Where are you at with him, or a hug? Is it a hug with you and him?
It's mainly been a head nod from me, and then he just walks on by because he has no clue who I am. It's been that sort of vibe.
Oh, one of these
Yeah.
in a hotel.
Today.
Got it. Yeah, he's Josh Pate. Thank you.
Yeah, Josh.
Sounds like there needs to be guardrails, AJ. Sounds like that's what everybody's saying.
Sounds like you better know who's speaking for you, too. Like, if you're a player, like, anybody could say they're speaking for you, right, and go to other teams. Can't they, if you don't have any, like, official people?
What do you think, D-Bud, of the whole entire situation? I think somebody in his team probably heard from some team, like, hey, we have this amount of money, or there's this amount of money on the table for somebody, and maybe it's the Carson Beck deal that he heard about and thought, if Carson Beck's getting that, I deserve more. But somebody on the team heard it, then they pitch it, you think? Or how do you think that kind of comes to be the decision?
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, I hated the whole, like you said, I've been talking about the whole non-guardrails and this coming up during the playoffs, even potentially. But yeah, I think as you see another guy get a deal or getting paid that you think you're either on that level or higher, and then you go to your people and say, I want that, or they come to you and say, hey, you should be getting this. You know how it is when you're in college or you're going to a different level and the people around you think they have all the answers. But at the end of the day, I think this is an example because, you know, he may go and be the bad guy, but whatever. If he goes and plays well, gets drafted, it all works out, nobody cares. But it does fall on you, you know, as the athlete, as the person, as the quarterback, as the cornerback, whatever you are, ultimately it falls on you. You got to take that responsibility. And hopefully he figures it out and it all works out for him and all the other parties involved.
And like Dan Lanning. My bad.
Go ahead, Connor. No,
Even
go ahead.
With Oregon and Dan Lanning, like I feel like there hasn't really been a line. And if what he says is true, and who knows, again, he said it was a rumor, but like if Dan Lanning and other coaches are even saying like, okay, now we're going too far. Like if we are hearing from, you know, representation from a player where that team doesn't know that this is happening, like the amount of shady behind the scenes stuff that happens in college football and has happened for years.
Yeah.
But for it to get to a point where the coach who might be benefiting, like we're talking about Oregon getting Nico, like Nico's unbelievable. We sung his praises after the Ohio State playoff game. Like he's a tough son of a bitch. He makes all the throws. He can move. He's awesome. And for the team that would possibly be getting him, that needs a quarterback, allegedly might need a quarterback, depending on who they still have, but who just lost, you know, Dylan Gabriel, who could possibly, you know, get a player like Nico to get them over the hump. For that team to be like, okay, we can't go this far. Like, hey, we want to win a national championship. We would love it to have a guy like this, but even this feels, you know, dark and kind of messed up in the sense of like, hey, we're screwing over another school so bad here that even that says a lot about the situation.
Well, I think every coach knows that it would probably happen to them too. You know? You know, that's like a hey, we have to have some sort of like if you're going to out recruit somebody, outpay somebody, like that's I think fair game. But if it's like this type of stuff taking place, especially when it comes to Nico, I thought Nico was a dog. You know, against Ohio State, he got up like a lot, cracked 2 helmets. Yeah. 2 helmets get cracked because it was so cold, and then he was getting hit so hard. So him getting up, standing through all that, I had massive respect for. Now he's just like, I see Carson Beck get $3 million. I don't know if we're playing the same game anymore. And then Heupel goes, bet, I'll see you later. And he hits a transfer portal. Where's he end up? If it's UNC, like I guess is being reported. I didn't know that was being rumored out there. Tone, is that real? Tennessee, he's moving. Tennessee coach. Okay, Iamaleava, miss meetings. Okay, so Tone, where were you hearing UNC?
I saw a screenshot. So 247 Sports does a like when someone's in the transfer portal, they do a crystal ball of where they're going to go, and I saw a screenshot of it on there saying UNC. Now, I don't know if that was doctored. I saw it during the break, but that was the place where I saw it.
Oh, no.
And it makes sense because, you know, they're
not paying them, though.
They potentially need a quarterback.
Can you sign incentive deals? Can you get incentive-laden, like, NIL deals? Because there's no way they're going to give him two.
Do anything. You can do
right?
anything. As long as the Trinity clears it over there. Be good.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've heard. Yeah, right? Isn't it kind of like because they said it'll be maxed out. Everything will be maxed. You know, like basically that's what had to happen, right? If we listen to what Lombardi was saying and Belichick was saying leading up, it's like, yeah, there were certain things, and if we knew that was possible, we felt like we could compete. You know, we're going to do our thing.